everybody, to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host, a very good friend, is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to all listeners out there. Welcome to not the VHS Festival, to Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. We're covering Married at First Sight UK season, what season is it? Season 8, episodes 25 through to 28. Sorry, Chris, I got VHS on the brain. Chris, where would you like to start today?
You know how bad that is that we know of each other. You didn't even say the V. It was the way your voice changed at the end. I thought, he's going to say VHS there. That is bad.
Full disclosure, right? I've just been editing the VHS podcast, so I'm just slightly in VHS mode and hadn't recalibrated my mind. But give me 30 seconds and I'll be right there.
Are you sure, Dave?
That, doesn't it?
Stop boasting, Dave. 30 seconds. Right, anyway,
sorry, I was going to be lewd then and do the old, where you grab your cheek and do the...
What cheek, though, Dave?
Do the sound. Yeah, do the squidgy sound. But anyway.
Dave, this sounds terrible. Cheek, squidgy. Right, let's move on. Let's start with something that is a bit squidgy, Dave. That's George's arse, Dave, when he's squatting. So Peggy and George this week. What is going on with Peggy? Like, I think because she's lived at home and she's supposedly had this sheltered life that she said in the original VT, and this thing with George, and I questioned it last week. I was proven wrong. You got the Twitch page up. You were completely right. I do think that video was made for maths, but I do think in the context of what he does on Twitch streaming and gaming, that's his community, the baguette thing. And it genuinely is. You can see it on his channel, so fair enough. But I think it's just absolutely nothing. And what I don't like, Dave, is her wording, her direction. I think she's really she's trying to mould George into something that he's not. And he's not the guy for her. But I must admit, Dave, as the week went on and she realised he had a bit of cash, oh yeah, look at your house. Yeah, but I just think she's not going to get out of him what she wants. And I just think what she's doing and the way she goes at him, the way she vocalises that and words, it's just wrong, completely wrong. It's almost gaslighting, I suppose, in some respects. But I just do not like her at all.
I don't know if it's gaslighting, but it's definitely, there's some kind of manipulation going on there, isn't there? Yeah. There's making George just plain feel like he's not good enough, and George has to be perfect for her for him to be good enough. And you know what? From the first episode when we met George and Peggy, I was kind of more on the side that, George's complete dick, isn't he? What was it he was saying? It was like, show me them titties or something like that.
Them cannons or whatever he gets saying.
It's like, God, this guy's a proper man-child and, an absolute knob at that. But as the weeks have gone on, I found myself kind of warming to him a little bit more. And I found it cynical as fuck, Chris, when Peggy suddenly sees his house. It's a nice house that he's got there. And she's like, oh, maybe I am interested in George. Yeah. It's like, oh, fuck off. And then, oh, yeah, it's not too bad. And now that I've seen all his gaming station and everything, I think I, might give him a ham shandy later on. So, yeah.
Which he did, I think.
So I was like, oh, fuck off. They just, but then he says something. Again, the communication is just way off between these two, isn't it? Because she's asking him this question about, well, when are you doing your gaming? Now, Chris, obviously you're a gamer, so, and I play, but I wouldn't class myself as a gamer as such. But George, because he's streaming it, he actually has a revenue stream from this.
Yes.
So he's making money from it. And he's, for me, doing the right thing. He's sort of setting the boundaries. He's saying, yeah, I'm doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday or whatever. And then she instantly puts a challenge out there. Well, what if I want to do something on a Friday or something like that? Well, I can't let my friends down. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking with you, George. And fair play for you not to say something like, yeah, I'll game whenever I fucking want. I'll do what I want. He's not said that, has he? He's got structured times. He knows when he's going to be streaming. He knows he's going to get a few baguettes, put a few squats in. And then, she's just like, completely just twisting it all. And then the next minute, he's back in shit corner, isn't he? And not good enough again. And I really dislike the way she's treated George the last few weeks. And, you could see a different George when he spent the time with Adrian, couldn't you?
No, exactly. And they had a nice connection, did they? Like obviously Matt, he's a hulk of a guy, and he's someone who does do the squats, Dave, and he does that little bit of a workout with Peggy. I don't think he let himself down there, the personality side, Matt. Then he was literally all muscles and nothing else at one point. But also, I think it gave her an understanding, Peggy, an understanding of like George's personality. Like the guy actually, he is a nice guy. I'm with you. I don't know what's happened. I thought he was a complete knobhead at the start. But as this has gone on, and maybe it was a nervous energy or like proper carry on fucking nurse, the doctors or whatever thing. But he has come across that. And I think what happens is because she's been so wicked to him at times and unreasonable and uncompromising, that us as the audience have gone, actually, he's not actually doing anything wrong, really.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's a job. He's earning a bit of cash off it. He likes the attention. He wouldn't be on a TV show like this if he wasn't a bit of an extrovert. That's it. But every time she speaks, he's seen, even at the commitment ceremony and all that. And I didn't like the phrasing of the fucking experts, Dave, because they sort of backed Peggy. And I'm this is bullshit. This is the prime example again of you absolute charlatans not watching what's going on in the background, a la Dave Horrocks and Paul fucking whatever he's called on Twitter, because you were correct what you said. Why don't you have a wider picture of what's going on instead of just watching a brief fucking beef dinner party and then judging it on that? It's absolute nonsense. So they seem to validate everything she was saying, and that's just made it worse. And he seems shrinking in himself when he sat there. And he got upset this week as well, didn't he? So, look, I never thought I'd be in this situation at all, but I genuinely felt sorry for him. I think she's not right for him. He's not right for her. But look, they're going to stay in this for the rest of the show. Let's be honest. They're going to stay here till at the end, basically.
Yeah. But what would you say Peggy is actually after? Because, I mean, Matt, he's a bit of a boring bastard, isn't he? Let's face it, absolute beefy guy, wouldn't want to say it to his face. He'd just pick me up and put me in his pocket. But that fucking thing that he said, was it this week or was it last week? I'm getting a bit muddled in my head, where Adrian's saying, so have you got any funny stories, any funny gym stories that he's going on about?
He said to Peggy about 50s and they fell on me or something like I fell back off the chair. And that was the end. It was just like, all right, great. Marvellous.
Fucking brilliant. I mean, and well-played editors he might have said some other funny or semi-funny things, but, he's just coming across as basically he probably just goes to work, goes to the gym, and then that's it. That is Matt. But, so Peggy's not interested in that, but so she wants someone kind of like George, but not without all the, not the stuff she doesn't approve of, and she wants all her friends to kind of like him as well. I still maintain, I don't quite know how that happened, where she sort of turned, she has almost gaslit the group to think, oh, George is the centre of all the problems, and, everyone fucking loves me.
I know, yeah, because she's going, I've never gone out with someone who my friends or anyone doesn't like. And I'm like, nobody fucking likes you either who's watching it. So you're actually quite good together. If they don't like you, us as the audience certainly don't like your behaviour. So she's a narcissist, Dave, isn't she? She absolutely loves herself. Like, it really is a strange dynamic. And maybe that's why she's single. Like you say, what is she actually looking for? She's looking for something that she's never going to find, I think. At the moment, anyway, she needs to taper that expectation or whatever barrier she puts up to ruin relationships, because it does feel as if she's self-sabotaging the relationship she's been in.
Yeah, I think so. I like I say, genuinely perplexed. Out of all the other husbands, is there someone there that you would think, oh yeah, could go well with Peggy? They would. I can't think of anyone.
No, I don't. I'm with you on that, Dave. Now. And obviously, we've talked about it through the show, so let's get on to Dave. Luke and Jordan to start with, but I do want to talk about Erika. So we knew weeks ago there was something had happened between, and Luke had been, unfortunately, the spoilers were out there. Luke had been booted off the show. It wasn't necessarily booted off when we found out. I've been waiting for nearly 2 weeks for this episode. So obviously, Luke, I'm not buying that he wasn't ill, Dave, that he was ill. And he left poor Jay there, to get a bit of an interrogation. He'd said some really inappropriate things, hadn't he, about, I mean, it was a fucking Davy Brent analogy at the best, wasn't it, what he was saying? Well, basically he was saying, I'm going to cheat. If it's there on a plate, I'm going to do it. And then you could see he was worming his way out of it. Actually, what I meant was, and I'm looking at his eyes, look at his body language, and I'm like, you've been rumbled, son. You have absolutely been rumbled. You've been acting, as Mr. Horrocks would say, Bertie Big Bollocks, because I'm going to use that later as well, Dave, so I'm nicking your phrase. But he was acting the big un when he's out with the boys having a drink, and I think he got caught out. And he's never liked Jordan from the start, and even Erika, and it just culminated in probably the worst fucking fight I've ever seen, Dave. I mean, I'm glad nobody was hurt, but it wasn't this Royal Rumble we were expecting. It was more of a pushing and shoving. But he was forceful, smacking on the door. The thing was, Dave, he smacks on the door. It's a bit of coincidence the cameraman was in there as the door got smacked on, though, wasn't it? I did see the cameraman inside the apartment as that happened. Yeah. It wasn't like he's banged on the door and then they've opened it and then it's kicked off. No, they panned to Jordan and Erika. They're like, who's at the door? It's like, fuck off. So I don't know whether it was like, you're going to get booted off. Let's just go with this. But it wasn't what I expect. I know the producers stepped in, but he can't be doing stuff like that. I'm not condoning that. However, it was just a strange dynamic, that whole incident. What do you think of it, Dave? I know I've waffled on a bit there, but I just found the whole thing just a little bit too set up, I think, in points.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly Tyson Fury, was it? It was more it was more like Hugh Grant and Colin Firth in Bridget Jones's Diary.
Good one, yeah, I like that.
But yeah, I noticed the same thing as well, that the camera crew were already in Jordan and Erika's room, and I'm like, well, we know you're not there all the time. So, and it looks like, oh, someone at the door. So yeah, I don't quite know. I mean, it didn't look staged as such, the way it went, but yeah, it was a bit of handbags, really, wasn't it? There's nothing really to it at all. But yeah, I mean, Luke, I think it ended up in the right place, but I think what you saw was quite interesting. So you saw that Luke immediately goes into gaslighting mode, and Jay, I was going to say, to be fair, but that's completely the wrong phrase. Whatever the opposite to that is, she just fucking swallows it hook, line and sinker. And I think she's got actually no problem with what Luke did, because she's convinced then that, Jordan's just tried to sabotage her relationship. Now, I don't quite know. It wasn't just Jordan. And there is this weird group dynamic with Jordan, right, that I think everyone just seems to fucking hate him. But whatever he says on screen, he's like fucking Jiminy Cricket. He's like... He actually just seems to call out the bullshit. Maybe that's why they don't like him. I don't know, but people seem to dislike him more, than I feel is justified. And so I think personally, I feel like it went the right way. I don't think that he should have got the opportunity to sit on the sofa and say anything, make his apology. It should have been like, what's his name? Was it Brad? Brad and Shona, was it? Just like a side conversation and just boot them off. I thought it was going to go that way, but yeah, just like I say, ended up in the right decision. But I kind of feel like a lot of the group still kind of blame Jordan for this. I feel like the group didn't. Luke never took any responsibility for it. So I'm sorry for doing that. Everyone. Yeah, but sorry for doing that. But, the old butt sandwich. So, he just didn't take ownership of it. So, yeah, I'm glad he's gone. I said he was a fake nice guy weeks ago. I think he's just a dick and needed to go.
Yeah, I agree. I got it wrong, didn't I? I called it from the start. I thought he was a good guy, but I got called out and I was proven wrong, Dave. Again, that's 2 defeats for the radar at the moment. I think the radar's batteries are not working. But no, and I think you're right. That was the right decision. You can't condone that, and it's done. See you later. One of the couples, David, and I think it's been interesting this week because we've seen a little bit of cracks in their relationship, is Paul and Tasha. Now, I don't know what they've not filmed a lot of them as a couple. It's mainly been Tasha and Erika loggerheads, and I think they've both been as childish as each other. Initially, I thought it was more Tasha, but I don't. I think Erika's an absolute bella, and Dave, and we'll talk about it later. But I think Tasha's quite childish at times. So Paul called her out, didn't he, and on her behaviour and some of the arguments they'd had. And look, when she's with the expert, she does say, like, you know, great guy, I'm really happy. They look like they're in love, and maybe it's a genuine relationship. It seemed that at the start. But as this has gone on, and it might be her age, because I know she's quite young, but maybe it's just that. But at times, her reaction, I mean, she's got some great, like, resting bitch face, Dave. It's fucking brilliant. She has not got a poker face. I love watching it when she's not happy, because she's like, oh, you're going to absolutely start saying something to somebody. So I do like that, because for the show, we need characters like Tasha. But I just think Paul seems like such a nice guy. Maybe it's the yin and yang thing, and when behind closed doors they work. But when I see them together, it seems to me he's putting everything in, and she isn't at times, and she's reacting quite silly with him.
I think you're right. I think she just comes across childish. Definitely does not have control of her tempo. We saw a little bit, didn't we, with the Erika thing, where she's like, "Yeah, I fucking do."
Yeah.
But I just wish we'd have been able to see what actually happened on camera, because it seemed to me that Paul was quite rocked by it, and she was very remorseful. Chris, it came across like a bit of an abusive relationship, and I was thinking, well, this is what happened with Brad and Shona.
Yeah,
but because
I agree,
because it's a woman being like over the top, that's okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they've done that, or why they've edited that out, or what the context of it was. It was difficult to make a judgment, wasn't it? Because obviously she was on the back foot from then. It may not have been as bad, but it did look, to me, I agree, it did look like there was more to it than what we were seeing. And it didn't feel like it was a one-off. It felt like she's had to apologise a couple of times in their relationship. And he's quite laid back and chilled. And I think that's probably, she's got away with it. And he's just got to a point and gone, you know what, I'm not putting up with this anymore. So let's see. Let's hope it helps them.
Do you not find a choice of words fascinating, though? Because she's saying, like, that will never happen again. She's not saying, I won't speak to you like that again, or, you know, I won't raise my voice, I won't do this. She's talking about that will never happen again. You know what I mean? It just feels like more than just, oh, she's shouted at him or something.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, Dave, we're never going to bloody know, are we? Unless it unravels and there is more to it. But I agree with that. I do agree. That's a couple I'm really keeping an eye on as we watch the show. I know a lot of it's premeditated and bollocks, but that does feel more real than some of the other stuff we've been fed this series with them two.
Yeah.
You know, with the other couples, I mean, not them two, but them two. And then obviously, Dave, we get to the dinner party and we lose your friend from Turkey, don't we? Sean and Mark gone. Their relationship's been on thin ice anyway. And Sean's just like, look, I've got to be selfish. And I think that's the right way to do it. You can't string poor Mark along. You know, Mark, what's this relationship? It's interesting considering how Mark perceived Sean at the start. You know, he was basically doing the old Morag. Well, that's not what I ordered. I wanted to pay $3.50 in the catalogue, not $3.25. You know, so it was a massive swing. It seemed to be Sean was doing all the legwork, and Mark was sort of like, I know Mark wanted everyone to look after him. He didn't want to work. He didn't want to cook. He didn't want to clean. He didn't want to do anything, did he? He just wanted to be kept. So it seemed that he really got into Sean, really liked Sean, and he was really hurt. But I think that's the right way to do it. Sean's like, look, I've just got to go. You know, it's not working. That's it.
Do you think it's the right way to do it? Because it seemed to me that Sean was talking to the camera. He was talking to the group about all of his uncertainties and all of this. There was one person missing out of those conversations, right? He's having all of these doubts. I had to question, what the hell's going on? I mean, I did wonder. I thought, have you got someone on the outside or something? Or have you just split up with someone just before the show conveniently? And then you're like, I thought I could handle this, you know, being away from them for that long. There's something going on, wasn't there? Because it went off the edge of a cliff very, very quickly. But he never actually had a fucking conversation with Mark to say, look, you know, there are certain things, you know, that I'm just having doubts about. Until he basically dumped him at the dinner party. So I don't think he's quite gone about it the right way. However, what I would say is he's not like 95% of them who will stay on the show no matter what, clinging on with their fingernails. Like, I need that TV screen time. So he was just like, no, I've had enough, I'm off.
Yeah. Well, maybe, look, you could be right. Look, they're all there for their own reasons, aren't they, Dave? We've had this before where people get really upset. It's like, well, you've got on a TV dating show. You're more probably into the fame if you get someone afterwards, realistically. So, yeah, you could be right, Dave. Look, they've all got an agenda at the end of the day, haven't they? They'll go to an opening of a fucking letter after this. So they'll be on everything trying to keep that sort of relevance to their little bit of fame.
Yeah.
So I agree. You could be right. You could be right. But Dave, I tell you what, and it was, the effects were added in because there's no way no one known. But there was there was eggs on the agenda, weren't there, at this dinner party? And they weren't poached, they weren't scrambled, but they were vibrating, my friends. And I thought it was brilliant.
You know what? I mean, honestly, Chris, I think 80 to 90% of the contestants on this, without doing the maths, I just don't like any of them. However, Roz and Thomas are just seemingly having the best time.
Yeah, just the best sex as well.
It is so sort of heartwarming to see. Well, lots of warming things. Heartwarming to see them just have fun with it, and considering, like, he wouldn't even give her a hug at the start, because she was a stranger. Now he's flicking the app sort of thing to, I don't know, whatever. Does it remote control the egg or whatever it does?
I don't know, Dave. You explain more. I don't know.
So here, I don't know. I just
free range. Or...
I'll tell you what, Chris, price of eggs has really gone up this last few months. Yeah, price of eggs, price of cheese, fucking hell. But not these types of eggs, obviously. I don't know what's happened to the price of those. But yeah, so...
Digging, Dave.
It was. Yeah, I'll just carry on digging away. No, it was great, wasn't it? Just to see them having fun there. I did not think they would show it, and definitely the sound effects were added on. I'm pretty sure, unless it was on the top setting and it's everyone else around the dinner table could hear it like a pneumatic drill or something.
They were loving it, all them two, weren't they?
Yeah,
they were fucking loving it. It was funny because. She was saying once, it's like the whole sex stuff. It's opened his eyes, hasn't it, Dave? Like he's living. He's like a little. Like, oh, this is fantastic. You know what I mean? So I liked it. I like the fact she was leaning forward. She's like laughing uncontrollably. Nobody picks up on it. Nobody's like, oh, what the fuck is going on here? So no, but that was a bit of. It sounds silly, but that's a bit of light relief. So, like on the episode, because I do want to talk, Dave, about Erika and Jordan. So obviously they were united front against Luke and Jay. We get to like the dinner party, and all of a sudden, Laura, again, Laura's done this with a few people. There's a little bit of shit stirring. And Erika just completely flips, and she's having a go at Jordan in front of everyone. He's just sat there like, I don't know what's going on. Like I say, I'm not trying to say he's completely innocent, because I do think at times I can actually... I can agree with this because I do this, but he vocalizes himself sometimes without thinking, engaging his brain. Yeah. And some of the things he has said have been cut in, and he deserved to be pulled up. But in this context, it just felt like Erika was like, right, this is my chance now. And she was using words like, you don't validate me. So really strong words that, when used correctly and when they mean and are said properly, if he's not doing that with her, then she should pull him up. However, I don't believe it. I just believe she backed him into a corner, and it was all about her. And this whole last two episodes of the week were just her just having a go about him, pulling him to pieces. There will definitely be reasoning behind what she's saying. I'm not discrediting that at all. And as a man, I don't want to discredit it and just be, you're sticking up for all the guys, because I'm not. But I just don't believe what she was saying, Dave. She was using all the correct wording, but I don't think if you sat her down and said, so what you actually trying... What did that mean by valid? Explain. She couldn't explain it. She was just basically, he was just sat there like, I ain't got a fucking clue what's going on. And I don't know. It's a difficult thing. And I'm not trying to be, stick up for the guys all the time, because I'm not. But with her, I don't believe any of it. And when she meets her friends, because I want to talk about that was nonsense.
One thing I'd say, Chris, she's in the right fucking career, isn't she, with drama? Fuck me.
Yes.
She loves the fucking drama. Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff to unpack there. Laura, I'm sure we'll come back to in a bit. But
Yes.
Laura kicked all this off with her big, massive, shit-stirring spoon, intentionally going in there to manipulate Erika, to make her feel this rage, that she hadn't felt before. But Laura was helping her see that she was deprived of this opportunity because everyone else had such a great time. And what a shithouse for Jordan to do that. She'd done that because she didn't like, in the previous dinner party, the fact that Jordan was calling her out for talking to Arthur in a condescending way. She really didn't like that. And she's held it against him, and now it's come back. She's kind of getting her own back, sharpening the knives and throwing a fucking grenade into the middle of that relationship. Look, there's something a bit uncomfortable about all of this, right? Because, so Channel 4 is supposed to have this duty of care, right? And we know, we sort of scoff at that a bit because clearly, they just do what they want. And, if someone's really at breaking point, maybe they'll, let them off for a day, have a day off or something, and then come back in. It's all a bit of bollocks, really, because if you look at Jordan and some of his mannerisms and stuff, and they've called out the OCD, but I think there's a lot more going on there. Now, he's just been attacked. Now, we've joked. It's not like he's been properly beaten up, but he's been manhandled by Luke, who, to be fair, I didn't quite realise how tall he was until he was stood over Jordan. I was like, fucking hell, he's actually quite big, isn't he? So he's been manhandled in his own sort of safe space. You know what? I can very much understand if someone, just any person, would feel a bit shaken by that for, I don't know, days, weeks, whatever. Someone who's got a bit of a mental health issue, then you don't know, do you? Just what impact that has. And I thought Erika, at first, did a great job. She was supportive of him. He was like, no, I'm not doing this. Erika was right behind him. The next minute, on a fucking dime, she switches to Jordan's the fucking arsehole depriving me of everything. And I was just like, fucking hell, I don't understand how that happens. And when those two are arguing, I'm baffled, Chris, about what are they actually arguing about? It just seems like they throw words, like you say about, you got to validate me. What the fuck do you mean? What do you actually want me to do? I don't know. And so, yeah, I think Erika came off horribly in this week, Chris. And then, when she's going to her mates, fucking hell, I felt so sorry for Jordan. It's just like, she sat there. She's got a fucking resting bitch face as well. She's just sat there like a bulldog chewing on a wasp, like fucking waiting for him to say something wrong. And he's there with her two mates and everything, feeling ganged up on. And then probably thinks, he'll get some emotional support from the mother. And the mother seems to start wading in as well and backing up Erika. I'm like, are we missing something with Jordan that isn't shown on camera, but, is shown off massively off camera? But I did not like the way the mother was completely backing up what Erika was saying, when I thought what Erika was saying was nonsense.
Yeah. And you know what? I agree. I completely agree. And also what I would say is, it's weird, isn't it? Because you get these things with the families or whoever, but one of the partners doesn't get their family involved. And it seemed to be Erika with her friends who were all agreeing with her. And we've talked about this in the past, haven't we? We talked about that Micah on Love is Blind, where her friends were even worse than she was, and they just validated her bad behaviour completely, didn't they? They were just like, yeah, it's fine. Was just one of her friends was awful. Same thing. The partner ends up like with him, and they're just tearing strips off him. They're tearing strips off Jordan. It's wrong, Dave. And I think it was even worse with Laura, but I don't understand why they put me in that situation, because it's not like Jordan could then go with his friends and do that to Erika, because that would be a completely different story. And I think it would be for Laura. So I don't think either should be put in that situation, if I'm being honest. That shouldn't be there. Maybe the families, but not the friends.
Yeah, I don't know. Chris, I just don't like Erika at all. I'd said, the whole thing with the hands, maybe that's why she uses abstract words to fill it in with the hand gestures. But yeah, just utterly self-centered, because the only way she was seeing this was, well, Jordan has deprived me of my opportunity. She's just literally, all of the language that she's using, it's all about her and what it means to her, and she's not looking out for Jordan at all, apart from that brief moment right after he's having a partial meltdown at the idea of going out of his safe space or whatever. Apart from that moment, yeah, completely self-centered.
Yeah, and I think as well, Dave, what I didn't like with Erika and not necessarily Laura, because it was Laura, but with Erika, once she got a bit of backup, like she did in the ceremony and stuff, the dinner party, her personality changed. She seemed to be like she wanted to get all this stuff off her chest. But I don't know whether she felt she couldn't. Maybe she doesn't. She's not confident when she's around Jordan. I don't know. But these are definitely different people. And for me, she just loved the attention. It's all about the attention. I think.
I mean, there's the attention, but I think she communicates a lot more poorly than I think she thinks she does. I think she thinks she's a great communicator, but she's really not. Like I say, she's just being abstract, and then she gets really frustrated, really angry really quickly, doesn't she, Jordan?
Yes.
And to be fair, I mean, Jordan does as well. But we've spoken about his kind of mental health issues. I'm not excusing him at all, but you think of that love-hate week the other week, she's just getting really angry, and like when Jordan's saying about this is how you make me feel, she's flipping it round and it's all about him, and she's not actually listening. So yeah, this one is another relationship on the bonfire, Chris.
I agree, Dave. And to be fair, you were saying about like Arsehole Friends of the Week awards. I think Laura's friends get them probably some of the worst we've ever seen in maths or Love Is Blind or anything, because Laura and Arthur have been getting on pretty well, haven't they? They find a few things out Arthur said about him telling white lies. He's been quite honest about it. Obviously, we know where she's from, a stock and all this stuff. She keeps going on about it. But I didn't think her friends would be worse than what she was initially, and she seemed to fall as it's gone on. I've actually warned her, but she's quite a nice person in places. Oh, that all came crashing down for me, Dave, because her friends, especially the Browner girl, she was fucking awful, and he was slagging Arthur. He was selfish, Arthur. Or was to talk about himself. I'm like, are you actually for real? They make Micah's friends on Love Is Blind look like really nice people. I thought she was way off. I don't know what Laura's been feeding her, but poor Arthur just sat there and just let him tear strips off her. And then he'd had enough, didn't he? He's like, it's absolute nonsense all. I really felt sorry for him.
Oh, where to start with this one? Well, first of all, I'd say we probably have a little bit of a recency bias with the comparison to Mika's friends, because I just remember them being utterly horrible. I think they were on par. It's just we've obviously seen this one more recently. I think the Laura straight from the off came across quite horribly, didn't she? But then she seemed to become a little bit nicer, and I think part of it is I just feel like she's kind of playing the camera and everything. I think it's still there. There's a huge difference here, because I'm not going to go all in to defend Arthur, because I think he fucks up sometimes as well. He says some stupid shit, really. I agree. I feel it difficult to go in all on defending him. But how many times has Laura, come under a bit of criticism at the dinner party, and Arthur is right there defending her, saying how great she is and everything. Whereas, when her friends are fucking laying in there to Arthur, giving him a grilling, say, oh, well, you said this, you said, you didn't say we, oh my God. And it's not even what they say. They look at him like he's a piece of shit. They look at him like he's just fucking rocked up off Shameless or something like that. And like, he's daring to encroach on their ground in this fucking cocktail bar or something, with the fucking Chorlton and the Wheelies fucking balloon lips. Like, it just It's just fucking ridiculous to me. And so, yeah, utterly horrible. Fucking villains of the week for me. And I don't know. I haven't looked. I don't know how other people see that whole interaction, but yeah, I just thought they can fuck right off. And Laura did not do a fucking thing to defend Arthur at all. And like I say, Arthur does say some stupid shit as well. But in certain moments there, I could understand why he's getting agitated, because he just sat there. He's getting no backup, no defense from Laura at all, and just plainly feeling attacked. And it's not like he's met these people for the first time. This is the third time of meeting them, and he's just fucking had enough. So yeah, I think he could have said some things better for sure, and definitely more in Arthur's court than Laura's. But yeah, he could have done better as well.
Unbelievable. But Dave, absolutely perfect. So I think we've only got a week and a bit left of maths. So we've definitely got a full week of it next week. And then I'm sure we go into the final bit, and the reunion is going to be interesting, Dave. So that's going to be a good get together. I should say. We'll find out who is actually real and who is not. So I think probably most of them aren't real. But there you go. But anything else, Dave, before we go?
No, I think it looks like Thomas and Roz might hit a bit of a bumpy ground next week. I think let's see how that goes. It seems like probably just a bit of miscommunication. Maybe Roz is thinking Thomas, like, he's ready to go straight in for kids now or something like that. But I hopefully they'll make it out. All the other couples, Chris, can go fuck themselves. I just don't care for any of them. Actually, I tell you, one other thing I do want to call out is I kind of at the dinner party when Adrian is sort of pouring her heart out about how things are just not right, and Matt is like, yeah, no, it's great. It's the most spectacular moment of non-listening since me and you last week, probably. But
every episode usually.
But I don't think I've ever seen that before. When he doesn't even take a moment. He has just literally heard the words, but not strung the words together and understood them in a sentence. I just thought that was pretty spectacular. And I think Adrian is completely out. I think, I tell you, the thing is, Chris, what did Adrian ask for? Someone who's fucking tall, and he's still fucking tall, isn't he?
Yeah. Fucking brilliant. He's the epitome of muscles and fuck all else, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah.
He's not showing anything.
Yeah, no, they haven't got a chance, have they?
No, and I thought they did. But anyway, no, good stuff, mate. And thank you to everyone as always. Please, guys, if you get a chance, drop us a review on the podcast. Get over to your podcast catching up. Drop us a review. It helps us get up there in the charts. If you want to email us, cdrealitycast@gmail.com. Going to follow us on social media @cdrealitycast. And as always, go over to Facebook, Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. Come and join us over there, guys. All the episode links are on there. If you're outside the UK, then there's always a link to the shows, maths and everything that we're covering at the moment. So a big thank you for that. Please get up to patreon.com/cdrealitycast if you want to support us. We have dropped to our Patreons. We did do the first episode of Love Island Australia as well. We're not saying we're going to cover it. We said we'll keep it in, and as we will watch, but we're not saying we're going to cover it. No daily podcast day. Well, that's for you guys as well. So thank you. There's a Big Brother one on there as well. Big Brother UK. So if you do want to do that, please get over there again. CD Reality Cast. No, it's not. It's patreon.com/CD Reality Cast. Chris, you say every episode you can it. But anyway, the roll call of honour, a massive thank you, is Kent Gustafson, Lucky Lulu Green, Lauren, Hennessy, Susan, Dee Dee, Katie, Libby, Joanne, Noreen, Chloe, Dee Dee, Keith, Helen, Gillian, Zoe, Maggie, Katie, Megan, Cassie, Fiona, Emma, Nicola, Helen, Larissa, Amanda, Kim, Caroline, Danielle, and Nick. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support. Amazing. And that list is getting even bigger. So thank you so much.
That's amazing, mate. And I'm just looking at your handle there. So we haven't discussed one couple.
Oh, Ella and JJ.
Yeah. So apparently, they haven't sealed the deal. They haven't actually slept together yet. What do you reckon's going on there? I
think that JJ's playing Ella. I think Ella, as much as I didn't like the way this all came about, I still say it was all made up from the start. I will be interested on the reunion if they're together, Dave. They do look sweet when they went off separately and that, and Ella came back. She was jumped on at JJ and everything. But I don't know, Dave. There's just something, because I think the whole thing's been created by the producers at the start. We want this storyline and blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure. I think Ella's in on JJ and he's not in on Ella at the moment. I just think he's playing her, which I think is going to, unfortunately, from what Ella said, she met her grandmother and everything. I think, unfortunately, that's the story of quite a few of her relationships, unfortunately, for her. So I hope that they do seal the deal as such, and that I'm proven wrong and that they're together. And then at least everything that's happened, whether I believe it's true or not, will be validated because they are actually a genuine couple.
How do we get to this point in our lives, Chris, where we're talking and chatting and hoping that basically a couple just bone in the next week? It's bizarre, isn't it? Well, so yeah, I don't know. I can't work it out because we saw JJ is not truthful with his feelings, is he? So in his wedding with Bianca and stuff, straight away he wasn't into it. So he was saying to the camera one thing, and then saying to Bianca something else. And I just feel like we might be getting a little bit of that same thing again. Only he's not saying it to the camera this time. Maybe because producer fingerprints all over that. But there's something definitely off there. I think. He'd said, basically, when he's for someone, he's kind of all in, and then he, so to speak, and he clearly hasn't been. Now, his friend said, you're exactly his type and stuff, so that was good to kind of validate her, to steal Erika's words. But yeah, it just seems a little bit strange because they'd apparently, Chris, we're supposed to drink the Kool-Aid and believe that, well, okay, they went out of the experiment and they were dating out of the experiment because it went so damn well. They're back in the experiment now, despite the fact there didn't seem to be much time lapse at all. So all just a bit weird, really, for me.
Yeah. Let's see, Dave. Let's see. I just think Ella's heart's going to be broken because I'm with you. I think JJ's being a little bit deceptive at the moment. Anyway, let's see.
Yeah,
he'll have to thingy soon because we're getting towards the end of the show. But yeah, thanks for pulling me up on that one. So I forgot about that one. But anyway, Dave, I digress. It's the end of the week, another week of maths to come up, and I've enjoyed it. I have enjoyed it. It's absolute nonsense, but I've really been getting into this series because it's just frustrating me more than anything. But one, because it's so bleeding fake at times, but two, that's what we're here for, Dave. At the end of the day. Reality TV, fucking nonsense. Oh, and by the way, Dave, I have a show. Before I go, I have a show that I got asked as a lover of Las Vegas, Dave. Now, I think we may have to cover this one, and it's on Paramount Plus. I got asked if I would like to be on a TV show because on the Las Vegas groups I'm on in the UK and various ones and that, there was an email came through via a Facebook post that would you like to star in a reality TV show in Las Vegas? So Chris being Chris, slipped him an email, showed him my YouTube channel when I got to Vegas, how much I love Vegas, bit of a spiel, I've got my tattoo and all this, Dave, just throwing a load of bullshit, thinking that I could possibly be the next reality star, the UK's version of Kim Kardashian, Dave. That could be me. And when the guy actually spoke to me from the production company, he basically wanted people who were staying in Las Vegas on holiday to appear as extras.
Oh, you told me about this. And I said,
told about this.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, sorry, I just dropped my phone. You told me about this, and I said it's a fucking 100% nailed on scam.
Yeah, well, Dave, the TV show in question I was like, well, you can fuck off. I am not doing this show. However, when I found out what the show was, Dave, it was basically you were a background artist or customer, Dave, in a strip club in Las Vegas. And the guy said to me, you can even bring your wife and daughter along if you want to be in there. Of course I do, yeah. So this new show, Dave, is called Strip, right? It's on Paramount Plus. Let's just say that the Love Island Australia first episode, they were scantily clad, Dave. These are even more scantily clad. And it covers the lives of these strippers in Las Vegas, my favourite show. I'm just throwing it out there, Dave, that it may be one we may need to look at down the line, okay? I'm going to watch the first episode with Samantha, of course, for research purposes for the podcast, my friend, this week.
Well, I'll tell you what. So it's already out, is it? Or is it coming out?
It's out now, I think. 8 episodes.
Well, purely for research purposes, Chris, I feel compelled to watch it as well. So let's watch the first episode, and then let's do it as a Patreon episode. We'll give our thoughts on it.
Yes, let's see where we go on that day. But I just thought I'd throw it out there. Anyway, so no, that's it's a yes from you, Dave. So let's just do it for research purposes, okay?
Thank you very much, sir. Well, that was great. Thanks ever so much to our listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters, and we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.